don't want you to. I got 27 miles to go as it is.
More.
Yeah, you're about the same, brother.
Secretary,
But that's okay.
call the meeting to order. Roll call, please, Gary.
Brennan,
Here.
Chartrand,
Here.
Dahlhoff,
Here.
Hathaway,
Here.
King,
Here.
Colzer,
Here.
Mowerhand, here, Mosier,
Here.
Fawcett,
Here.
Table.
Here. Everyone stands and we'll have our invocation. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for gathering us here this evening. We pray that you will watch over and guide us as we make decisions that affect our people. We pray that you will grant that you watch over and guide the people that are constantly putting their lives on the line to keep ours safe, our soldiers, our law enforcement, and all others. We will have a moment of silence for those that have passed recently. That will include our fellow legislator that served a few years back, Louis Nickel, and also a doctor that recently passed away that served our county, Dr. Camillo. So we'll have a moment of silence. Amen. Now the pledge to the flag. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone should have got a copy of the February 9th meeting minutes. Does anyone have any corrections to offer at this time? If not, they'll stand approved. Report of the Rules and Legislation Committee per Rule 6, Gary.
The Rules and Legislation Committee is met. They recommend to waive the rules to act upon late resolutions.
That's moved by Brian, second by Larry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. At this time, we'll open our public hearing for consideration of the recommendation of the Lewis County Ag and Farmland Protection Board for inclusion of land into the Ag District 6. Does anyone from the public have any comment at this time? Okay, we'll move along to privilege of the floor. Now we have Michelle Ledoux with us this evening. Michelle, I think you have a verb. Is it getting that time of year to start tapping?
Yes, it is. So I just wanted to invite all of you to make a weekend. It will be coming up this year, March 19th and 20th, and April 2nd and 3rd. It is a split over Easter weekend, but most of our sugar houses will be open throughout the sugaring season. We already have some that were tapped in January, and so some have already made like 300 gallons of maple syrup. So we're just doing it right now, so it's sort of dependent on where they are in the county and what kind of setup that they have. So March 19th, we'll start here. You'll soon be seeing TV ads advertising Maple Weekend here in Lewis County and some paper ads. I have more of these if you'd like to hand out to folks, and I have more of the magnets, letting everybody know about it. We have our own Lewis County Maple Trail app that we encourage folks to go to, and that gives them everything they need to know. And it's set up so that they do not have to be connected to the, Frank, what do you cell service. As you get out further to our sugar houses, so you don't have to have cell service once you're connected to them. They'll give you breadcrumbs and get you where you need to go and back again. Tells you a little bit about each of the sugar houses. At the American Maple Museum, we'll be having pancake breakfast. And then there is other ones. We have 7 sugar houses in the county here that will be participating. Obviously, sugaring is a very big thing here in the county, and we produce a lot of maple syrup. About 50,000 gallons on average in Lewis County. It is an agricultural product, so it is weather dependent. So I am hoping for a above freezing during the day and below freezing at night. And it's okay if it keeps snowing, if we have sugar snow, I'm all right with that. But we'll just see how the rest of the weather goes from now on.
Thank you, Michelle. Does anyone else have any privilege of the floor? Okay, we'll go on to reports of county officers and departments, Terry. Or actually, communications first, please.
The New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation has informed they will consider the Talcottville Commons School Number 2 for nomination to the National and State Registers of Historic Places. The Tioga County Legislature forwarded a resolution calling on the state to develop a 100% state-funded indigent legal defense system as a way to provide mandate relief and lower property taxes. The Shenango and Yates County legislatures each voted a resolution opposing the New York State Labor Commissioner's order to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour for employees of fast food chain restaurants in New York. And that concludes correspondence.
Thank you, Terry. And now the county officers and departments, Terry.
Legislators have all received copies of the 2015 Social Services Annual Report, the February 11 and February 23rd Highway Audit Reports, the February 23rd Solid Waste Audit Report, and the February 24 Youth Bureau Advisory Board meeting minutes. The Treasurer and Real Property Tax Directors have reported approval of several applications for corrected 2015 and 2016 tax rolls, which are on file in my office.
Thank you, Terry. Go on to reports of standing committees. Bill, Ways and Means, Buildings and Grounds.
Thank you. I'd like to give Frank Archer an attaboy. He kind of went an extra step on a couple of quotes he had. They were well within what he could have done, but he made extra calls and saved us $1,500. Of course, then he suggested something where he could spend it, but nevertheless, it was good that he did go the extra mile and make those extra calls. He did 142 work orders this month. We are trying to work with the Workplace Safety Committee to do their things for him. Excuse me. We voted to do an energy audit at the PSB. Excuse me. It doesn't cost us anything unless we do the recommended upgrades. And those recommended upgrades typically pay for themselves, so in a short period. We're going to start doing the engineering work on the PSB water upgrade. Probably within the next week or two, we'll meet with the engineers and go through that. We are going out for bids to replace the steps between the church and our parking lot. We did some work on the solar this month. We approved the layout, the credit allocation. Joan is working on an MOU with the hospital. We did have bad news that we did not make Tier 1 funding, so we are in Tier 2, which costs the county $272,000 over 20 years. So our annual, now this is on the guarantee. It probably most certainly will be more than we will recoup some of that, but this is what we're guaranteed getting. The split was the county was going to get $124,000, now we'll get $113,000. Hospital was going to get 41, and now they're going to get 37. The only other thing was we would like to move our meeting from the 22nd to the 29th in order to be able to act on last-minute resolutions. I do have some motions, and we do have 3 items for executive session as well. The first motion is we would like to return the lease money to the farmer who's leasing the land where the solar array is going to go, and we want to ask him to till the property and seed it. We would give him the seed, but he would do the tilling. And I'd like to make a motion to return the entire sum because he didn't get to use it at all this year.
Moved by Phil, second by Dick. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The second one is a motion to authorize for advertising for bids to design and construct the conversion of the existing restrooms. And that would be to better accommodate the gender ratio in the building. We would change them in all 3 floors, and it's gonna be a fair amount of money, so probably in the $20,000-$30,000 range. So we're gonna go out for bids and see what we can do for it. I would make the motion that we do go out for bids for that.
Moved by Phil, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'm on a roll here, Mike.
2 out of 3, Phil.
Yeah. I would also make a motion to hire BCNA to develop a green grant application for the parking lot at the PSB. That would be the next phase of it. It would be about the same area as we did with DSS. This is just to apply for the grant. We would not be hiring for engineering or anything like that. We did feel like it would be advantageous to get them because Joan got, and I'm speaking for you if I misspeak, tell me, Joan, but some good feedback from EFC
Yes.
regarding the efforts of them. So we thought it would be a good opportunity to continue the momentum. That would be $1,500. So I would make that a motion.
Been moved by Phil, second by Craig. Discussion on that motion.
Phil?
Craig?
Phil, is there anyone else besides them that do the grant writing for that?
Probably most anybody could, Greg. Again, we thought because of the good feelings that EFC had for them regarding this other grant, or how they operated on this, as opposed to, anyway, we felt like it would be to our advantage to have them prepare the application for us, which they were successful last time.
No, Volatus, they don't do that kind of work? I mean, since we already are paying them a yearly fee?
That's worth looking into, and I'd be happy to do that. I'm wondering if they would have the engineering technical, they could do grants for sure, but I don't know whether they've got the engineering technical expertise to do that. I'm looking at Liz and she doesn't either. But
Do you need engineering technical skill to put the grant together?
for the backup information, yes. Because you gotta get into the bioswales and all that kind of stuff with it to show EFC that it is going to be green and that type of thing.
Don't we already have most of the information from the green parking lot right in front of it?
We would have probably 75% of that information, particularly the bioswales part of it, which we hope would make it, this stage of it, considerably cheaper than the last stage, because we do have them, but there would still be drainage issues, particularly behind the PSB, because the bedrock is so close to the surface there. So there would be some challenges there to prove a green system, as I understand it. But that's a good point with a lot of us, and I'll get with them and see exactly what the scope of things that they can do.
Thanks, Phil.
Sure.
Any other questions for Phil regarding the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And again, we do have 3 issues for executive session, and that'll take care of me.
Thank you, Phil. Rocky, DSS, Office of Aging, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From the Department of Social Services, Executive Order 151 ordered Lewis County DSS to shelter homeless individuals that were not otherwise eligible for shelter on days the temperature dips below 32 degrees. As of February 26th, DSS has sheltered 3 individuals for a total of 17 bed nights. Lewis County Shelter Plan submitted to the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance has been approved, and the district is submitting for reimbursement on this cost. Steve Kennison is retiring as a senior account clerk on March 30th after 38 years of county service. Just wants everybody to know to thank you for Steve for his hard work and dedication to Lewis County. From the Office of the Aging, to date, the Office of the Aging has processed 353 HEAP applications. The Emergency HEAP Program opened January 4th, and both HEAP program components are anticipated to end on March 15th. On March 3rd, an OFA Senior Forum titled Vaccination Recommendation is being presented by Ellen Scanlon, RN Immunization Coordinator, Lewis County Public Health. Topic includes review and recommendation of all vaccinations needed by adults. This educational opportunity will be held at 11 a.m. at the Copenhagen dining site. Registration is required by calling OFA at 376-5313. On March 24th, OFA will again be hosting the Mayors for Meals event at all 6 dining sites throughout the county. This is an annual national campaign intended to increase awareness and community engagement to support our senior neighbors. Mayors and other elected officials across the county are invited to show their support for senior nutrition programs by delivering meals to seniors in their homes. Registration is required by calling OFA at 376-5313. From Penny at the Youth Bureau, she would just like you to know that on behalf of the Lewis County Youth Bureau, I would like to thank the Lewis County Board of Legislators for allocating an additional $2,000 in 2016 youth project funding. These funds are used to support positive youth activities and programs in Lewis County that had a decrease of funding or eliminated or for new youth programs. Each year, the Youth Bureau has to make challenging decisions to fund quality youth programs while witnessing dwindling revenues. Therefore, your generosity is very much appreciated. Sincerely, Penny Dean. The 2016 seasonal bus runs to Old Forge. The Youth Bureau will again be assisting with the marketing of the seasonal bus runs to Old Forge for summer jobs opportunities. Youth Bureau student representatives will post posters throughout the county, as well as assist with recording radio spots and marketing the program during their school district's morning announcements. And that does it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rocky. Brian, County Officers, Veterans, Junkyard, HR.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Veterans and veterans didn't meet this month. We're on that every other month meeting schedule with veterans and the with board daily on that. But Junkyard Review Board met last month. Joan was nice enough to show up at the meeting to introduce herself to all of our board members. None of them had met before. I promised her it would only be a 45-minute meeting. I guess it lasted just a little longer than that, but they had some great questions for Joan as they were going through their process. So I know Joan, not that she's busy enough already, but they gave her some more work to do to check on some legalities with some of the junkyard licensing and renewals. So I know they appreciate that, Joan. Thank you. I don't know if any of you know or not, but the HR committee, during some of the meetings, some of our committee meetings, we've been brought up to date. You now have the road patrol here in Lewis County has a new union representative called the United Public Service Employee Union. So our negotiating committee is getting things together, and we're getting ready to start doing negotiations with our road patrol. And that would be all I have. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Jerry, Courts and Law.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to start with a motion to authorize Sheriff Carpinelli to order two new patrol vehicles, Ford Explorers. One has to be a marked vehicle, at the cost of $39,880.74. And the other one would be on mark for the cost of $36,305.74. And I'd like to make that a motion.
Moved by Jerry, second by Phil. Questions or comments for Jerry? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Main Center should be done. They moved in the middle of this month. Things are going along well. They're starting to set all the radio equipment up in there. Doors are working. I think the last thing they lack is the intercom system for the Sally port and outside where they don't see the personnel. Progressed along pretty good. Castle Rock training. It's a program that monitors the status of our radio system, tells you when there's problems, doors are open, heat and air. They're going through the training for that, dispatchers and stuff, so makes a little bit more sense of it when they do get an alarm in and stuff. And Wells Communication is also sitting in there because they're the service provider for E.F. Johnson while we're up here. So that'll be going on today and I think tomorrow. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, at this point.
Thank you, Jerry. Any questions for Larry? Larry, Economic Development?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start with a motion from Recreation, Forestry, and Parks for Director Jackie Mahoney to advertise for bids for a new 24-ton trailer. They need this, the one that they have is getting old and tired. They need to replace it.
Motion by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion?
Are trailers on state bid?
Jackie, you want to talk a little bit about this?
I've asked Dave if he's looking into it for me. He didn't have any at that time.
So are these postings going in more than just times or for bid?
Well, why don't we word the motion to authorize Jackie to bid, to entertain bids for a new 24-ton trailer and include the state bid list if it's on there. I mean,
If we want it to go out to the general public to bid on, it needs to go, our policy says there needs to be an advertisement in the Watertown Daily Times. So we can, I would suggest that we do that, because we got kind of messed up on a prior bid, so that is our policy, so we need to be following it.
Okay, so do we need a motion to advertise the bids in the Watertown Times material?
No, you just need to authorize the process to begin. Advertising is one piece of it.
So clarify your motion, Larry. Would you like this to go out?
Yeah,
to bid?
the advertising, the board has designated their official paper is the Watertown Times. So when you authorize to bid, that's where it's going to be bid. If you want it bid, or, somewhere else, then you would specify that. If you want it to go in more than the Watertown Times, you would specify where you want it to go.
Well, I'm not sure how we differ from the original motion to authorize Jackie to advertise for bids for a new 24-ton trailer.
Advertise for bid, according to their
That's it.
procedures.
I would just suggest, Mr. Chairman, that that's how the motion should read, and then it'll follow our procurement policy.
Okay, you got the wording correct, Terry?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and it's been seconded by Craig. Any further discussion?
Any idea how much that would cost? Curious.
Jackie?
They haven't priced them all, I don't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't out of my budget.
Dave, you got an estimate?
What'd you just say about your budget?
It's not out of what we put in for my budget.
Okay.
I've got to call into Tyler Jones because Barnesman purchased a trailer like this, but he hasn't got back to me just to see what they have for information.
Any other questions at this point, comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'll just touch on a few highlights from economic development. Here continues to work on the county's behalf on the negotiation for the Roaring Brook Wind Project. Discussions move quickly, and we'll be back to legislators with more information soon. Also working with Joe McNichol to begin review of the Maple Ridge pilot renewal. RE Energy, we've met twice with RE Energy representatives in the last month to understand the challenges at the Lionsdale facility. And I know that Mike and others have reached out to federal and state legislators and we're getting some feedback from that. There was an article of support in the Watertown Times over the weekend from Senator Schumer. Small business grant, we're very close to finalizing the grant funding for an expansion project completed by the Tug Hill Vineyard. Business should receive the funds soon. From planning, continue to work on developing markets for maple syrup samples. Maple syrup samples have been sent to the UK for distribution. Frank attended the Taste of New York reception in Albany with the FFA students and Cornell Cooperative yesterday on February 29th to showcase Lewis County ag products. From Parks, Forestry and Recreation, the Snurf Run is scheduled for April 16th. Details and road openings are the same as last year. And included is the fact that Barnes Corner snowplows must obtain satisfactory insurance. We also have a request to open the West Road in turn for the 4th annual Dick Seller ATV ride on May 7th. The next ATV roundtable is scheduled for April 4th at 5:30 at the Chamber of Commerce. Any and all who have an interest are welcome to attend. The Sheriff's Department reported 35,187 snowmobiles on the trail between the Flat Rock Inn and the Montague Inn for the period of January 1st through January 31st. That's high, but it might be because we were the only ones that had any snow. And except for questions regarding the committee meeting minutes, that's the end of my report, Mr. Chairman.
Mary, I was wondering what Mud Mafia was, or Mafia Mud, whichever it was called there. I saw it in the minutes. I didn't know what that was.
That is another ATV ride that was originally scheduled out of when the trails are open. They've now moved it to May 1st. They supposedly only are going to run from Tuggers to the Montague Inn, so we're not really sure when those roads are open, other than enforcement, law enforcement. We're not sure how much the county is going to be involved in that.
So on the Snurf Run coming up, have they provided us an insurance policy?
Not yet.
So they haven't provided
Not
one?
yet.
So how long do we have before we have to?
We have until 7 to 10 days before to cancel it.
So they should have that before then?
Oh, yeah.
And our insurance agent's gonna be looking it over?
Yes.
Dave?
John, are we requiring, we talked before,
other organizations other than the Smith Run have these runs, we're requiring the same insurance requirements of each one of those consistently or not?
Each one, each what, each,
Well, I thought when we started talking about these events a couple of years ago, we were gonna come up with the requirements that were consistent throughout everybody that held an event similar to that kind, so that, we didn't have general recommendations or requirements for each event.
well, we do have, everybody has to have insurance who does an ATV event, depending upon the event, because the SNRT one is very different. It's also an all-road, it's an all-road event, so it's a little different. There's certain other requirements that we hold, the runner of the event to for that particular event. But for instance, the Dick Seller event is a little bit different. It's a much smaller event, so we look at all of those factors in determining what else they need to do. But generally, they have to have insurance in place.
We're protecting our liability in case.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Larry? Good, thank you, Larry. Move on to Craig. Taxation, elections, IT.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Briefly from IT, Adam attended a forum at the state capitol and was advised that we may not be eligible for the first phase of funding on the broadband proposition by the governor. Reason being is if there is another entity such as Time Warner, or now Comcast, I guess, in the area, then that's considered coverage. So that the information and statistics were somewhat skewed. There is a process by which you can appeal that. So we're going to go ahead with our study as planned, and then hopefully phase 2 we'll be able to rectify all that and get the funding necessary to provide broadband to those people that are underserved. Adam's doing an outstanding job on that and working closely with the provider. That's it from IT. From elections, there was some concern by our ladies in elections with some loitering outside the front door and the windows, and it's caused some uncomfortable moments for the ladies. So we are working with Buildings and Grounds, and Phil and I have talked, and they're going to work with Adam to see if we can't come up with a resolution whereby they can somehow secure the door and either video or audio buzz the individuals in that need to go in there. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Adding to that, in our meeting, I think it was Jerry that brought this up, that are we asking the sheriff to swing by there occasionally and actually the village police as well?
Well, we haven't, and it's probably most appropriate to ask the village police, and if he feels he needs the sheriff on top of that, I would leave that to his call. And I think Donna's here, maybe she could mention it to your, there's been some loitering down there, and there's been, I guess, one individual that goes actually inside the building and just kind of hangs around in there.
And this is during when?
During the day, during the work hours of elections, down at the Commons.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil.
Just a present, Mike.
It might help.
Jerry's.
That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Greg, Transportation, Solid Waste.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to start out with a motion. Motion to award the bid based on project location in accordance with bid tabulations prepared by the highway superintendent, placed upon file with clerk. Board of board for sand, gravel, and crushed stone, and crushing of stone and concrete for the period of 4/1/16 to 3/31/2017.
A motion by Greg, is there a second? Phil seconds the motion. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay. From the highway department, Dave came in and one of the things he needed to do was start the process for 4 summer employees and possibly another employee that was out of work and may not return. So discussion was held, and Phil made a motion to grant the hiring of 8 summer employees full-time, and Craig seconded it. And it was all in favor. And then we're gonna have a March bid on hot asphalt right before the committee meeting. Discussion went on to the highway garage, that possibly will happen in the future, and how much acreage that Dave would like to see, because, he is the one that has the knowledge, and he's looking at 9 or 10 acres. 9 would cover the needs, a little bit more would be helpful, and the size of the garage and that, and we're looking at, Phil made mention of possibly $5 million within the next, 5 years out from now. Not right now, but out there 5 years. Talked about a pre-engineered metal building, and then we also recommended that Dave and Stan go and look at some other shops, see how they were designed, and, what features they liked and disliked, that way they know. We pulled back the bids for 2 pickup trucks are basically on hold until Dave gets the advertisement on the newspaper. That way all procedures have been followed. Let's see. And the new plow is in, and it was in use. And now he's working on the next plow, 2017 tandem plow. Going to get the specs, and we'll discuss that at future committee meetings. Next is solid waste. We gave permission to go out to bid for a 50-yard open box, because the one we have right now is not really roadworthy, so it's for replacement. Pete has the money and the budget. Also, he's looking at talking to a scrap metal dealer to remove the steel bins in the recycling building, to make room for the conveyors that we're going to need for the zero sort. Also, he requested to promote a grade 18 worker to heavy equipment operator, which is a grade 21, which we gave permission. It ended up being 16 cents an hour, in case anybody has a problem. Very little difference. And we went into, he got the agreement with Bernie Carr for the zero sort conveyor system. And then he had a meeting with on March 10th, February 10th with the haulers, and I guess that went very well for the clear bags and the future zero sort. There was really only one person that had much of a complaint, and I think it's going to work out fine, and Pete's very workable with all the haulers. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Greg. Any questions for Greg? Hospital, Dick?
Yes, Chairman. First, the auxiliary report, their annual chocolate-covered cherry sale raised $1,900 for the Lewis County Hospital Fund for Hope. And due to popular demand, the Magic Show will be held again this year, April 30th at Lewis County LACS School. We have Dr. Nick Gabriel, who's a general surgeon. He'll be joining our facility February 26th. He's going to be working 4 days every other week, and that will add to our surgeries that are being done and help with our bottom line. I have not met him yet, but my daughter-in-law met him, and she said he's a really nice guy. She was very impressed with him and thinks he'll do well. We're recruiting a mid-level provider for South Louis Health Center. That will give us another PA for one that may retire in the future. The nursing home and the home health were both recently informed that they received a 4 out of 5 star rating through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, respectfully. This is a very good rating, and as you see the folks that work there, congratulate them on that, please. We haven't got any word yet on our nursing home IGT funds for 2014 or 15, but when they come, it's $4 million each, so that will be an $8 million influx to the hospital. Mr. Hellinger, the CFO, reported that there was a gain of $16,937 for the month of January. The SNF occupancy rate for January was 94.9%. That's 2% over the budget. Mr. Hellinger also added that the deaths for the county are current, including our loan and health and dental insurance programs. He received a 2015 hospital IGT payment of $1,225,000 in January, and we received the March VAT app payment of $658, and this could be the last one, depending on what the state does. In November, our facility was selected to participate in a meaningful use audit, and we needed to justify measures that we reported on our charges, and we were successful in keeping $822,000, which otherwise would have gone back. The 340B program is working well. Falls Pharmacy is rejoined effective February 1st. Rite Aid, 3 locations, 2 in Carthage, 1 in Boonville, will also be joining along with Wegmans. So this will help the 340B program and also increase some of the revenue coming into the hospital. The board also approved the 2016 goals for the CEO, Mr. Birch, and that will allow us to now continue with the renegotiation of his contract. And last, the employee of the month for January is Adrian Hilliard. He's a respiratory therapist. The write-up goes, Adrian is a great asset to our hospital. He makes rounds to each floor, checking to see if there's anything he can do to help anybody. He goes above and beyond every time he works. He's kind-hearted, diligent, treats every patient as an individual and with the utmost respect. It's always a pleasure to work with someone who shows this respect, professionalism, care, courtesy, performance, and good customer service that Adrian does. If you see Adrian, please congratulate him as well. Except for questions, that concludes my report.
Dick, I have one quick question. I don't know whether it was in our joint meeting or maybe something I heard even last year, but with that VAT, did we do a transformational plan or something, was it called something like that, and have we done it, and if we've done it, will this board get to see it?
Eric? Yes, we have submitted the transformational plan to the Department of Health. We're working through it with them right now, and when it's finalized, we can certainly make it.
You don't want to distribute it until they approve it?
Well, yeah, because it's changing right now. So
When do you think that might be?
I would think within the next 30 days, it'll be on that.
Okay. I wasn't dreaming that. Okay,
Good
good.
memory.
Never, right.
I'm going to direct this right to you, Eric. The VAT, do you think it's going to go away this year, or isn't it scheduled for 2017?
The VAT app is scheduled for a couple more years. We actually have projected the need only for the next year. And we've been in talks with the Department of Health that we're weaning ourselves off it. And we have every intention to go off after this next year.
So you're going to go off
A year early.
a year early?
Yes.
Even though you don't necessarily have to, or?
Well, they're very encouraged by the fact that we're looking to get off early. You know, this is something that gets approved by the Department of Health. It's not automatic, so they want people to be moving towards not needing it. So we're just going to ride it.
But that's quite a bit of funding.
Yes.
Thank you.
Other questions for Dick at this time? Okay, we'll go to Andrea. Andrea, Public Health, Community Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Penny provided the quality assurance report for the committee. There were no significant deficiencies noted. Penny and her staff remain in contact with the New York State Department of Health and the CDC and are closely monitoring the spread and effects of the Zika virus. There are no local cases, but a few cases have been diagnosed within the state of New York. All referrals are being screened. There are only a few labs capable of drawing specimens. Lewis County residents would be sent to Utica or Syracuse. Penny is hopeful that a lab test will become available within a short time that would relieve the pressure on public health officials. Penny is relaying any information as it is received through public health forums and news releases. It has been determined that Zika virus started in Brazil during the 2014 World Cup event. Preventative spraying has commenced in Florida and other high-risk areas to prevent the mosquito population from carrying the Zika virus. Countries are developing a vaccine and expect to have it available by the end of the year. Also, the flu season is upon us throughout the state of New York, but the number of diagnosed flu cases is less than 50% compared to last year. The Lewis County Diabetes Prevention Program has been certified by the CDC. And to Community Services Board. Our community was saddened by the sudden and unexpected death of Dr. Camilio at TLS. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, patients, and co-workers. A psychiatry nurse practitioner has accepted a full-time position at TLS, and she will begin March 7th. TLS has also received an expression of interest from a psychiatrist to work as medical director. TLS is currently negotiating the salary, and they expect an acceptance. Also, the Watertown PNP and the Watertown RN will each be working 2 days a week at the Lava Clinic. Stevie and her staff are working hard to ensure all of the doctor's patients are seen and medications are filled. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Hendrik. You got a question, Phil?
No, I got another motion.
Too late. Are you all set, Andrea?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Phil?
I wanted to give Greg a breather after that third one. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county attorney to enter into an agreement with the property owner adjacent to our solar array to allow the county access to cut down the designated trees on the hedgerow and leave the logs there for the owner. There would be no cost to us other than cutting the trees down. The object is to enhance the production of the solar array. I'd make that a motion.
Okay, you got a motion from Phil, second by Dick. Any further discussion?
Phil, that's on property we own?
No, it's on, that's why we need the agreement. It's on the neighbor's property, but he's letting us cut those trees down.
Okay.
And we're gonna leave the wood for him.
Okay, it wasn't quite clear who owned them.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Done, Phil?
I'm done, Mike.
Okay.
For now.
So we'll move on to our county manager report. Liz?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A lot of work has been going on with the Tyler Core team this past month. Patty, I think, has borne the brunt of it, but we're off to a good start. There is, as I've said before, there's a lot of work to do. We've got 10 core team members from the major disciplines that are represented. About a week and a half ago, we had our first GE government efficiency meeting. It was a bad weather night, so we didn't get quite as good of attendance as we would have liked. But we did have a presentation by Ben Freevert of Larson Engineering's. Tug Hill Commission talked about examples and opportunities for consolidation of justice courts, and Adam gave a brief update on broadband. In addition to that update. We also had a meeting with Mohawk Networks and the schools, and I agreed to send out to all of our municipalities a generic letter of support that we would like all the municipalities to sign and return to my office by March 31st. The letters of support will go in the Mohawk Networks application to New York State, which is due out April 15th. And that's about it for now.
Okay, questions for Liz? Okay, we go to Patty, Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I handed out the balances for tonight. Special legislative contingency is at 250. Contingency is at 475. Capital data processing is at 138,153. Capital equipment is, the county portion is at 327,278. Highway portion is at 215,214. These are 2015 sales tax collections. The final numbers came in. As you can see, we still had a surplus for this year, but it was down from last year. But we still came in where we thought we were going to. Hospital repayment is on time, and they are a balance of $3.4 million. And internal service fund is, as you can see, January of 2016 had a bad month, and I feel like February could be in that same situation. So far, our 15% isn't really working yet, so. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, questions for Patty?
Patty, do you perceive with the changes we have in the healthcare plan coming up, the health, when that goes into effect, do you see any drastic change in that number?
I don't want to see, we're going to see any drastic change. Over time, we'll see some, but it's not even going to take effect till June 1st because most of the changes have to line up with a plan year. So even when it starts, when we say $300,000 over a year, it's going to be just incremental. So I'm not sure. I'd like to see some better numbers coming in the next couple of months.
Do you have any data that's pushing it the way that it's going right now, even with the 15%? Do we have any data on that? I mean, have we had some huge
We've had
medical
a few very large claims. So that's not helping. Stop loss will kick in over the 165,000, but it just seems like there's been a lot of high claimants.
Thank you.
Question?
Betty, actually, the hospital has sent us some more money that they just haven't told us where to spend it and stuff yet too. So you actually have more than what you're showing here in the hospital.
What they do is they send me towards the next year's pension.
Right.
So that I don't have in here because.
But you do have some money towards it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, they
Very
did
good.
give me some, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. I'll give you my report now. Terry Clark and myself attended the inter-county meeting February 25th in Groversville. The only resolution on the agenda was our resolution that we had done for the concern for the minimum wage increase. And there was a lot of discussion held at that meeting, but it was passed just the way we had wrote our resolution. So that would be forwarded to the governor. There was one person opposed. The other hot topic was the broadband. And Greg alluded to our concerns, and that was probably compounded at our meeting. There was discussion for quite some time about all the concerns, and really there was nobody there with any answers. And it's kind of ironic, before the meeting was over, I got a call from our regional representative, Jeff Farrell, who had other things to talk about, but I told him about our concerns on broadband, and he said I'd be getting a call later on from someone from the state, and I did. And just a couple hours later, I got a call from Anna Rua. She's from Empire State Development. She's the Director of Outreach, Innovation, and Broadband, and she was very cordial. She offered to answer any questions, and we did had a discussion, but she suggested that she would be available to come to a meeting. So I guess what I'd probably propose there at our next inter-county meeting, or the one, next inter-county meeting is up in Franklin County, which is quite a distance for her to travel from Albany. So I think, I haven't talked to her again yet, but I'm probably gonna see if she'd come to our April meeting in Saratoga. So that'd be a good one. It sounds like a good contact person for her concerns. She seemed to have a lot of answers for me, but I'd rather have a whole group where everybody could ask more detailed questions than what I could. So that was a good meeting. Like I said, our next meeting is in Franklin County, March 24. Another interesting thing, a member of our inter-county came up with a proposal. He suggested to the NISAC Executive Director, Steve Aquario, and a few others, he'd like to have a group meeting of some of the top leaders. And it looks like it's coming through. It includes NISAC, the Association of Towns, the Adirondack Association of Towns and Villages, and the Adirondack Intercounty. And what the purpose of this meeting would be is to coordinate our ideas. You know how we always try to focus on how to get the attention of the state. This proposal is that we get together as a group and see what our common interests are, and do maybe a joint resolution or similar resolutions, all focusing on the topics that are of common interest to us. And some of the topics that was suggested would be our concern, of course, for our roads and bridges, our broadband problems, the ATV registration, and the upcoming one is changes to the 488 program, the forest owners, where they'll get a tax break. That could be have adverse effects to communities. So I guess what I'd like to hear from you is we have set up this meeting. It's going to be March 14th in Albany, and I plan on attending. But I'd like ideas from this group or community, that topics that you think that we could do together, meaning the Adirondack with the NISAC and Association of Towns. What particular topic of grave importance to us that we might be able to really do together? So if you've got any suggestions, you don't have to bring them up right now, but I'd appreciate it if you get back to me on that later on. And I would present them to this group and see what we can do as a group. Okay? The other thing is the Adirondack Challenge. I attended that Sunday. So I think probably I'll have to announce that I'm going to join the U.S. Olympic bobsled team. It was a fun day, but it was also a very good day. I had a chance to do some advocating for some of our problems down around here. I had a great talk with Richard Ball, the Department of Ag Commissioner. I was fortunate enough to have, looking for a table, I ran into Kevin Shalat. Kevin's on the Adirondack Council, and you know, I've gotten along with him well in the past, but he's a key player in the ATV discussion. So I had a great conversation with him. And the other side of where I sat was happened to be my Kate Fish. She's from ANCA. You know, we are members of ANCA, and that's the Adirondack North Country Association. Kate is the executive director, and she hadn't been aware of the problems with re-energy. So I got her up to speed, and she said she'd start making calls tomorrow morning, and I got a call today from another third party that said they'd heard from Kate already. So it's funny how things turn around. And also I did talk to Lee Stefanik about the re-energy problem, and she said that she was on top of it and would be making more calls. So it's good to get around. And I guess that concludes my report for now. And like I said, I'd appreciate any feedback for what we can do for discussions later. At this time, we go back to our public hearing on the land inclusion in the Ag Protection Board. Was there any other comments at this time? Okay, we'll close that hearing. Ways and Means Report, Rule 7, Terry.
The Ways and Means Committee reports they've examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $1,361,968.25 and recommend that they be audited and allow for the amounts claimed.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolutions.
First resolution is auditing and allowing the claims in the amount of $1,361,968.25.
Moved by Phil, second by Brian. Roll call, please, Terry.
Brennan?
Yes.
Chartran?
Yes.
Dahlhoff?
Yes.
Hathaway?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Coulter?
Yes.
Mowerhand?
Yes.
Mosher?
Yes.
Fawcett?
Yes.
Tabo.
Yes.
Authorizing inclusion of certain agriculturally liable land into a certified ag district and negative declaration determination.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing email delivery of local laws to Lewis County legislators.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion.
Is this gonna be only via email, there won't be any other?
If you adopt this resolution that is authorizing, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have or won't have a hard copy if requested. You certainly would always provide that. This would just legally allow us to provide those by email.
I already put my order in for hard copy.
Oh, that's a surprise. No.
Carries. Comment.
Yeah, they are working on the solution though, because I liked hard copies too, but they may have it to where with a certain thing, option that you can go ahead and write right on the tablet, so you'll still have a copy and you can take notes. So that might help everybody in the long run, because I like to write on stuff so I remember.
Exactly.
Well, if you don't have internet service,
No meeting.
huh?
No meeting.
I don't have internet service, so I'm providing my own email address. So I don't have internet service, so I don't have one of those little tablets.
Okay. Other
Hard
questions?
copy helps.
Questions or comments?
Always available, always.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay.
All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To amend Rule 2, powers and duties of committees of the Standing Rules of the Board of Legislators of Lewis County.
Moved by Larry, second by Rocky. Discussion.
Okay, what is this?
It is merely adding planning to the name of that committee. It's changing the rules, your standing rules, so the entire paragraph that you see there in the resolution will be now a part of our standing rules. And it's just adding planning to that committee.
Other questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorize opening of certain portions of county roads for ATV special event for Dick Sellers Memorial Ride.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Opening of certain portions of county roads for ATV special event and authorizing agreement with Snow Pals Snowmobile Club.
Moved by Brian, second by Larry. Discussion.
Larry, there's no change in these roads from previous years. This is the same route.
It's the same contract, same route as last year. All the stipulations are exactly the same. Last year's contract.
And we will know set more than 7 days in advance while they have their insurance.
Yeah, if the insurance is not in place, the event won't go through.
Other comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing members to Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Subcommittee of the CSB.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, District Attorney.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Calling for an increase in the share of revenue counties retained for providing state DMV services.
Moved by Phil, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing members to E911 Oversight Committee. The board.
Moved by Craig, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing and reestablishing health insurance plan changes effective June 1, 2016.
Moved by Brian, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing engineering services agreement between the Highway Department and Barton and Lejudas.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I will abstain. Son works there.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Department of Highways.
Moved by Brian, second by Greg. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing the shared services supplemental agreement between New York State Department of Transportation and the county.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Transfer funds, Transportation Department.
Moved by Rocky, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, Transportation Department.
Moved by Brian, second by Phil. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate transfer funds, Human Resources Office.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate transfer funds, Information Technology.
Moved by Phil, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement between County and Clark Patterson Lee Design Professionals for lead engineering professional consultant services required under the Local Government Efficiency Implementation Grant awarded to the Southern Lewis County Regional Water Program.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement between Public Health and Vaneski and Company.
Moved by Phil, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Public Health.
Moved by Andrea, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Public Health.
Moved by Brian, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To amend the authorization agreement between Central New York Care Collaborative Incorporated and Lewis County through the Public Health Agency, Office for the Aging and Community Services Board.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Recreation, Forestry, and Parks Department.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Lewis County General Hospital Occupational Medicine and Recreation, Forestry, and Parks Department.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing grant agreement between New York State Division of Homeland Security and the Sheriff's Department.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing memorandum of understanding between the Sheriff and Lewis County General Hospital regarding provision of jail physician services to the inmates of the Public Safety Building.
Moved by Jerry, second by Phil. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to social services.
Moved by Brian, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Department of Social Services and Multicultural Association of Medical Legal Interpreters.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to social services.
Moved by Rocky, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer and appropriate funds social services.
Moved by Phil, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to solid waste department.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approving correction of tax bill.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to weights and measures department.
Moved by Phil, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
To set public hearing for Lewis County Housing Rehabilitation Program, CDBG grant.
Moved by Larry, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
In memoriam of Louis O. Nickel, introduced by the chairman, Michael Taball. Whereas Louis O. Nickel of Humphrey Road, Copenhagen, recently departed this life on February 25, and he had served as Town of Denmark councilman from 1973 through 1980, and as Town of Denmark supervisor from 1981 through 1987. And whereas Louis O. Nickel was elected to serve as Lewis County Legislator to represent his constituents from District Number 3, commencing January 1, 1988, and subsequently re-elected for 2-year terms, serving through December 31, 1997. And throughout his tenure, Louis O. Nickel had served on several legislative committees, knowledgeably representing various factions of county government. That it is proper for us as friends, acquaintances, and members of this Board of Legislators to record our recognition and appreciation for the sincere, generous, and valuable services rendered by former Lewis County Legislator Louis O. Nickel. That is an enduring record and mark of respect to the memory of Louis O. Nickel as an honorable and dedicated public official. This resolution shall be printed in the official record of proceedings of the Lewis County Board of Legislators, and a copy thereof forwarded to the family of Louis O. Nickel.
Moved by Phil, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Other business?
Yes. On February 18th, a young gentleman named Nathaniel Atkinson was an arts all-star, and he was on TV. He's had his artwork displayed in Carnegie Hall and around the country, actually. Now it's in D.C. So I just wanted to recognize him. By the way, he's from Paris.
I was going to ask that.
Are you sure? Because I think he lives in Pitcairn.
He goes to Harrisville Central School.
Other business, our May meeting, we were trying to have somebody step forward. Hines Falls would like to host our May meeting, and prior to our meeting, they would like to give us a tour of the facilities down to the cogeneration plant, the Linesville pulp mill site. So I think that'll be interesting.
Mike, where will the meeting be held?
At Lions Falls, in the library. They
Oh, the
understand,
library,
Well,
okay.
Right, is that what
It
you're
could be the library and it could be Forest Presbyterian Church, we're not sure yet.
Okay, so we'll just have it.
So when we
May
figure
3rd.
that out?
May 3rd.
But
when
the
are you
two
ready?
are
We're shooting for like a 6 o'clock meeting, but the mill tour would begin sooner, of course.
Yeah, I think we do the mill and that and whatever else at 4, and have our
Start at
meeting at
5.
5. That's okay with everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
5 o'clock?
May 3rd.
May 3rd.
How long a lead do you need for the actual location?
Well, if it's decided by next meeting, because you will announce it at your April meeting, so you've got a month.
Anything else for other business? We will be going into executive session. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, just so that we know for the record that the executive session is to discuss certain potential contracts.
Thank you, Joan. Entertain a motion to go into executive session. Moved by Craig, second by Larry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
5-minute recess, boss.
5-minute recess. Donna, I will expect Steve will join us.
Yeah, I have some coverage to give me a little leeway tonight, so good. Thank you.
I didn't see you edging to the door, so I was watching.
We're okay.